Today we are kit building our very own ukulele. Now we're going to try and model it on Hokusai's Great Wave. I'm no artist, but let's get into it and see what happens. Okay, here we are, and we're about to apply the white bubbly froth on the edge of the wave now for the final part of the painting of my kit ukulele that I've been putting together and trying to create the artistic, the woodblock print of Hokusai's Great Wave. That's being far too generous to my efforts, so I'm trying to create my own version of Hokusai's Great Wave, and I forgot to do it in the last video, so I added it afterwards because I wanted it to dry with the other colours. The original Hokusai's Great Wave has Mount Fuji in the background, and so I've added it there, and it's a nice little personal touch for me actually as well, because I did once a long time ago climb to the top of Mount Fuji. I have actually hiked up Mount Fuji at night, no less, and it was perishing cold, and actually we were walking past icicles on the way back down the next morning. It was so cold, but I've done a night hike up to the top of Mount Fuji, and I'm going to add a little bit of white on the top of Mount Fuji as well, because it normally is shown with snow, because it snows there from about October to about February, March, I think. I get a lot of snow at the top of Mount Fuji. So we're going to be adding the white tip to the mountain, and we're going to try and somehow turn this, from a distance, actually, when I look at it up in the camera there, from a distance I don't think it looks too bad, but close up it looks really bad. So what we're going to try and do is some white frothing of the waves. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. I'm going to practice on the neck actually, because that will all be covered by the fingerboard there. So I've got this space just down the middle of the neck that will be completely covered. So I'm going to practice a little bit of frothing there. I've got my white paint. I'm going to be quite generous with the white, 'cause I think the key to this is we're going to need quite a raw acrylic. I don't want it diluted, I don't want it mixed. So I'm going to go back to my big brush. This might be a huge mistake, which is why I'm going to practice it first. Touch of water, but I want it quite dry actually. The idea is it's going to be a dabbing effect. In a way, I probably want a dry brush. I've just wetted it. Probably want a really dry brush for this. I'm going to try, yeah. It'd be so helpful if I knew what I was doing. I'm going to try it on a sort of, that is the sort of thing I'm gonna go for. So I'm going to risk damaging the brush slightly, but probably should have dried. I don't know. Let's see what happens. It's going to clump, isn't it? Let's see if it clumps or if it works. So we'll try it first on here, and what we're hoping for is a sort of, yep, that's that first one was way too heavy. Actually, those at the bottom are pretty much what I had in mind. So it's nice to see that I'm not completely clueless when it comes to this. So I'm going to do the mountain at the end, and I'll do the mountain with a much thinner brush. Oh my gosh, I feel I'm about to really commit to this. Bit more paint, but not too much, because I don't want to replicate that first splodge. Now I've got to be careful. I'm just going to actually put, I've got my laptop off screen here, so excuse me. I'm actually going to put Hokusai's Great Wave in the background there to try and give me some inspiration in my moment of desperation. Here we go. And I'm going to put that really clearly on the camera so you can see every live splash of white. Oh, this could go very wrong. Right, so I want it to go over the top, and then this inner curve here, I'm not going to have the white on, but the white's going to go all the way over the top, and it's going to come down. I'm going to start somewhere where it's going to be, I'm going to start there. Oh gosh, my gosh, what have I done? I think I've done what I needed to do, covered much of what I did earlier. Okay, so straight away it's going a bit crazy. I'm just taking a big breath here and sort of, whew. Yeah, this is dramatic to say the least. I'm not sure this is a good idea. I'm not sure this was ever a good idea, but this is pretty much the effect I had in mind early on. I'm very tempted to just stop, because actually I don't think that's as bad as it could be. Just conscious of the fact this green line here is still quite visible. And the idea of the white is to cover the rather linear lines that I'd created before. So I want the colours to be visible, but I don't want the sort of striped effect that I'd really badly created to be visible. So the idea is the white hides the bad bits and brings out the good bits. Whew. It's not as bad as I thought it could be. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead because I'm actually very, very pleased with that. By, bearing in mind, by my standards, I'm actually very happy with that. So I think that's worthy of it's almost worthy of Blue Peter. That it's it's like, here's one I did earlier, like live. You know what? When you're doing art live on the camera, it's very stressful. Right, so I just need to salvage this. I think I'll just I'm not quite sure what to do with that. That was a useful experiment. I think I'll just wipe that off carefully. That'll be fine. I'll leave that to dry because that won't show at all. But it does look rather bad, doesn't it? I'm not happy. I'm going to cover that. You're thinking, what is he doing now? And I'm just not happy with having that splodge of white there. I'm sort of just trying to give it a wash. What I'm going to risk doing is going over the edge. If I want to do that, I really ought to mask it, but it's hard to mask it the edge because it's curved there. That's fine. That's just, I don't like mess, and that's not quite as messy as that white splodge was. So we're going to go with that. So yeah, I'm actually quite delighted with that. And so what we're going to do now is get my thin brush again, the really thin one, and we're just going to do the top of Mount Fuji. Gosh, how many years? It was a long time ago I climbed up there. 2008. 2008 I hiked up Mount Fuji. October. No, that's wrong. 2006. October 2006 I hiked up Mount Fuji. Right, I think we are ready to add a bit of white to the top. This has got to be really delicate. Can you see what I'm doing there? Might be better if you couldn't. Right. Doesn't have to go all the way down. The thing is, it does want to just sort of blend into the brown, so snow would sort of be melted off. So it wants to be quite heavy on the top and then just sort of blend in. It doesn't need to be heavy white all the way down. Bit of a snowstorm there halfway up. Whoops. I'm nearly happy with that. Probably should stop. I've got a hair. Where did that come from? That's annoying. Can I get that off? That is annoying. There's suddenly a hair on it. How did that? I think that's off now. That's annoying. That's slightly ruined it. Right on the last brush, I got a hair. It was so amazing before then. That's as good as it was before. Just a bit more white on the top. There we go. There's Mount Fuji. There we go. Doesn't look too bad, does it? All things considered. Why is he adding more? Stop adding more. It's fine. I'm going to stop there because that is okay. There we go. Mount Fuji and Hokusai's Great Wave. And I think what I'll do now as well, I'm going to risk taking off the I'm just going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to take off the main part of the masking tape. So I've just washed my hands, and I'm just going to take off the masking tape, and then I'll be all ready for varnishing. And I'm going to risk a thin layer of varnish later on, just because I am mindful of the fact that as you hold a ukulele, if you're not careful, you're going to end up with a bit of perspiration on your fingers, and that could have an effect on the paint. So I think it does need some, does need some varnish. This tape isn't coming off brilliantly. Could be a problem. There we go. Right, I need to be very, very careful here. So it's like unwrapping a Christmas present. This. Hopefully, the overall effect will be not too bad. I can't quite see where the bits of tape are. Where do I go next? Let's try this one. There's the thin blue line. Interesting sort of edging there of the wave. Quite effective, quite relatively neat. It's not a disaster. You can see the blue line around the bottom. And there we have it. Hold it up to the camera. So there's the front and the side and the bottom, and then it's all plain blue on the back. There we go. Hokusai's Great Wave with Mount Fuji in the background. I'm actually really pleased with that. I'm looking forward to seeing it varnished. I think because the white's quite thick on at the end, so I think it's obviously going to need to have some time to dry. And I think the varnish will just help flatten the whole thing. Otherwise, it's going to have a bit of it's not going to be entirely smooth on the surface. And I can still see the two holes I need for the bridge later on. So there we go. Hokusai's Great Wave. Thanks for watching.